4th of April that any action by India to divert the flow of water would be considered as an act of war. Pakistan will not allow India to hold its 240 million people hostage to hydro-terrorism. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan values the efforts of all friendly countries, including the United States, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Turkey, that resulted in preventing further escalation between India and Pakistan and putting the ceasefire in place. Going forward, it is essential to consolidate the ceasefire, institute a reliable crisis management mechanism, and develop confidence-building measures that would help stabilize the regional security situation. Ladies and gentlemen, beyond conflict management, moving towards dispute resolution is indispensable. Pakistan remains committed to peaceful and cooperative relations with all its neighbors, including India. We believe in peace, but with dignity and honor, and on the basis of mutual respect and sovereign equality. It is our considered view that sustainable peace in South Asia remains contingent on a just and lasting solution of Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UN Security Council resolutions and the wishes of the Kashmiri people. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan also believes that time has come to reimagine regional cooperation in South Asia and our extended neighborhood. The negative impulses of dominance and hegemony have long stymied this process and made SAARC dysfunctional. A region instead needs a positive spirit of solidarity, mutually beneficial collaborations, and shared prosperity. South Asian countries can constitute groups with viable geometry on issues from economy to technology to connectivity. Bangladesh, China, and Pakistan have recently formed a trilateral mechanism to promote cooperation in a broad range of areas of common interest. Like we already have a trilateral between China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan mechanism. Further, such mechanism can be envisaged with other South Asian states based on the principles of common interest, mutual benefit, and win-win mutual cooperation. Distinguished participants, Pakistan remains profoundly concerned about the recent developments in the Middle East. We condemned Israel's completely unjustified aggression against Iran, as well as the attack on Iranian nuclear facilities by the United States. These actions, representing a highly dangerous escalation, have been in violation of the UN Charter and the international law. Pakistan has consistently supported Iran's legitimate right to self-defense under the Charter. We appreciate the constructive and pragmatic approach that Iran adopted in finding a negotiated solution to the nuclear issue. The US-Israeli actions seriously undermined the long-standing norms of interstate behavior and exposed the entire region to a conflagration of potentially unimaginable consequences. Pakistan has welcomed the announcement of the ceasefire between Iran and Israel. We stress again that all the relevant parties must constructively engage and resolve all outstanding disputes peacefully through dialogue and diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, Israel's genocidal war against Palestinians in Gaza continues to be a stain on the conscience of humanity. The wanton killing of children and women, use of starvation as an instrument of war, mass destruction of homes, schools and hospitals, and critical infrastructure, and deliberate targeting of humanitarian workers have no parallels in the world history. These actions cannot be condoned enough and cannot be condemned enough. The international community must mobilize to stop Israel from its murderous course and persuade it to pursue a path of reason. Palestinians must be granted their inalienable right to self-determination. Pakistan reiterates its unwavering support for the Palestinian people and calls for the establishment of a viable, independent and contiguous Palestinian state with pre-1967 borders and Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. Pakistan has consistently supported this position all along, and we continue to actively pursue it at the United Nations, OIC, and other international forums. We believe there can be no peace in the Middle East without justice for the Palestinians. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent months, we have purposefully made serious efforts to reset Pakistan-Afghanistan relations on a positive trajectory. My 19th of April 2025 visit to Kabul and the China-Pakistan-Afghanistan trilateral ministerial meeting on 20th of May in Beijing paved the way for a qualitative change. Among other things, we agreed to upgrade our diplomatic representation to ambassadorial level and extend CPAC to Afghanistan. We believe that a peaceful, stable, united and prosperous Pakistan is in Pakistan's vital interest. Having made serious efforts in Afghanistan's interest, it is a legitimate expectation that the Afghan interim government would take all necessary steps to ensure that Afghanistan's soil is not used for terrorism against any state, including and particularly Pakistan. Ensuring this is in Afghanistan's own interest, as it will strengthen their internal security and improve their relations with neighbors, principally Pakistan. If the interim Afghan government works with complete sincerity and wholeheartedly, the fruits of our economic cooperation, efforts for regional integration, and connectivity would be enormous, for which Pakistan is making serious efforts globally. Not only the people of Afghanistan will benefit tremendously, but also the dividends of shared prosperity would extend to Central Asia and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, while I have shared Pakistan's perspective on some of the major hotspots globally, our overall foreign policy remains proactive and result-oriented. The Pakistan-China all-weather strategic cooperative partnership continues to scale down and scale up wherever it is necessary to the new heights or new lows. Our long-standing ties with the United States are expanding in both scope and substance. And the relationship with Russia is growing into a partnership deemed vital by both sides. We are fruitfully engaged with European Union, Japan, and ASEAN, forging stronger collaboration with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and other partners in the Gulf and the Islamic world, developing an enhanced partnership with Africa and meaningfully reaching out to the Latin America. One of the core principles guiding this foreign policy of Pakistan approach is accentuating Pakistan's pivot to geoeconomics. I have been personally spearheading the thrust on economic diplomacy right from day one I joined the Foreign Office as part of our fundamental reorientation of the Foreign Ministry. Enhancing trade, promoting foreign investment, attracting remittances and technology flows, and forging development partnerships are among the highest priorities of this present government. In this way, foreign policy becomes the most important instrument to protect and promote Pakistan's economic interests and to substantially contribute to the process of national development. Ladies and gentlemen, the other core principle in the external dimension is our abiding commitment to international law, United Nations Charter, and the UN-centered multilateralism. This is of utmost importance for effectively addressing the world's complex, interconnecting threats and challenges pertaining to peace and security, climate change and sustainable development, terrorism and transnational crimes, strategic stability, and destructive arms races, misinformation and disinformation, and Islamophobia and interfaith harmony. As an elected member of the UN Security Council for the years 2025-2026 term, Pakistan is actively engaged on all these issues and making practical contributions. Serving on this high table is indeed a unique honor, and I reassure you that Pakistan will remain a strong proponent of peace, international legality, justice, and collective solutions to the common problems. We would become and make all humble efforts to become the voice of the voiceless and the power of the powerless. With these words, I congratulate the ISSI on its Foundation Day celebration again this year and thank them for providing the opportunity to share my thoughts with this august gathering. This platform has been pivotal in countering false narratives and promoting Pakistan's perspectives. I wish the Chairman Board of Governors, the governors and the Director General and the entire faculty all the best in the future endeavors. And there's a great contribution, as the Director General shared with us. They have compiled 5 books on a very key areas. With these words, I thank you very much and thank you for your patience listening. Pakistan Zindabad.
नायब वज़ीर-ए-आज़म व वज़ीर ख़ारजा इस्हाक़ डार इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजिक स्टडीज़ के 52वें यौम तासीस से खिताब कर रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि मसला कश्मीर का सलामती कौंसिल की करारदादों और अवामी उमंगों के मुताबिक हल चाहते हैं। ISSI पाकिस्तान का आला तरीन इदारा है। तालीमी शोबे में ISSI अहम किरदार अदा कर रहा है। पॉलिसी साजी और सफारतकारी में ISSI का कलीदी किरदार है। दुनिया इस वक्त तब्दीली के अमल से गुजर रही है। पाकिस्तान आलमी बरादरी का एक जिम्मेदार रुकन है। पाकिस्तान अपनी खुद मुख्तारी और इलाकाई सालमियत के तहफ़्फ़ुज़ के लिए पुरज़्म है। ये थी ताज़ा तरीन।
दुरुस्त हर वक्त बर वक्त।
मोदी जेड़ा जे ना ये एग्जैक्टली वही है। मेरी शादी करे, ठीक है, और 3-4 साल की उम्र होगी, ये वैसे ही कर रहा है कि मैं जीत गया। लेकिन इससे हटके ये जो इस वक्त मैं आपसे एक और बात करूँ, ये चौथे के दिन हमें बताया जाता है ना कि टेक्नोलॉजिकली इंडियन बहुत आगे चले गए हैं, बड़े माहिरीन होते हैं
और पूरी दुनिया के आलमी इदारों में छाए हुए हैं।
हाँ, छाए हुए हैं।
यार उससे ज्यादा तो हमारे हैं।
मैं अर्ज कर रहा हूँ, एक तो बात ये है कि ये साजिश के जरिए महकमों को कैप्चर करते हैं। वो जो वहां पे एक बंदा जो है जो उन्होंने अपॉइंट किया है, ट्रंप साहब ने आते ही सिक्योरिटी का बंदा जो अपॉइंट किया, उस पर सारे लान तान कर रहे हैं और उसे मैनिएक लिख रहे हैं, जुनूनी कातिल लिख रहे हैं। लेकिन आ गया, इधर वापस आ जाए। देखिए इस वक्त ये जो हमने सारा कुछ किया है और अपना हमें कहा जाता कि वो जनाब आगे गुजर गए। सर 1962 में बना हुआ और 1968 में खरीदा गया मिराज 3 और मिराज 5 आज भी पाक एयरफोर्स का हिस्सा है।
क्या बात,
ठीक है,
ऐसे।
और उसके बरक्स से 1982 के अंदर इन्होंने तेजाज का प्रोजेक्ट शुरू किया था। आज भी तेजाज का कोई स्क्वाड्रन इंडियन एयरफोर्स नहीं उड़ाती। हमने 1992 के अंदर शुरू किया था ये जो थंडर का प्रोजेक्ट, और इस वक्त कम से कम भी 175 थंडर के तैयारे जो हैं वो पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स का हिस्सा है, ठीक है। और जो टेक्नोलॉजी हमने बना दी है और जिसकी बुनियाद के ऊपर हमने इंडिया को 2 दफा फेंट लगा के दिखाया, एक दफा 2019 में, एक 2025 के अंदर 2 दफा फेंट इंडिया को लगा के दिखा दी है। दुनिया वो टेक्नोलॉजी ढूंढती फिर रही है कि यार
रजी दादा इतने ज़हीन होते, छोड़े इतने ज़हीन होते।
और ये जनाब दुनिया की टेक्नोलॉजी पे अपनी तरफ से छाए हुए हैं सिर्फ भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री की वजह से और गोदी मीडिया की वजह।
और वो भी भारतीय फिल्म इंडस्ट्री वो है। मुझे भी एक दफा ना इंडिया जाने के इत्तेफाक हो। हाय शुमैला चौधरी, मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, यहाँ हम इलेक्शन कवर करने के लिए ना इंडिया में गए। अच्छा, जैसे हम गए, यहाँ से हम लाहौर से दिल्ली की प्रवास थी डायरेक्ट, उसके उतरे, हम बड़ा सोच रहे थे कि हम दिल्ली उतरे हैं एयरपोर्ट पे। हाय 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 हाय, यूं जो फिल्मों में हमने दिल्ली देखा हुआ था, हिंदुस्तान देखा हुआ था, क्या चमक दमक,
लीमू और नारियल पे तो
कख भी नहीं था।
राफेल खरीद लेते हैं और उसको चलाने के लिए पायलटों पे डिपेंड नहीं करते, लीमू और नारियल पे करते हैं। और इनकी जहानत की तो क्या बात करें। गाय का दूध नहीं पीते। हाय हाय जो वो पीते हैं। गोली मारे आगे चले फैरी साहब। भारतीय मीडिया क्यों मोदी की हाँ में हाँ मिलाता जा रहा है?
देखें, वो तसल्लुत है, वहां पे जबर है, वहां पे आपने देखा नहीं कि जो सच बात बोलता है, हिंदुत्वा वाले और जज्बाती लोग जो हैं, जो अपने ही दलित को मुख्तलिफ स्टेजेस पे ले आए हैं कि महादलित, मीडियम दलित और लोअर दलित, उन लोगों का क्या कहना है? एक पहली बात हुई है। अभी रजी साहब बात कर रहे थे वालिद मोहतरम की और हार की, तो यार इन्होंने तो उनका हार देख के खुद अपनी शादी की बात की, अल्लाह बख्शे मेरे वालिद को, उन्होंने शायद ऐसा ही हार देख के अपनी दूसरी शादी भी कर ली थी। लिहाजा ये जो हार है ना,